morning. It's Wednesday morning and I thought I would just jump on and say hi. I wanted to share this little blend of oils that I've been diffusing. I've been trying to find like the perfect fall scent, and I've looked up and I've tried a bunch of different recipes online and none of them like quite were that. One thing I will say, I've tried nutmeg a few times. It's so strong. So if you're adding nutmeg to your diffuser, like one little tiny drop. But I think I finally nailed it. I tried this last night. Oh my God, I almost just broke that. I get my oils from Eden's Garden. I've shared this before. The three that I have in this diffuser is clove, cassia, which is cinnamon, and sweet orange, which I desperately need a refill of. And it smells so good. I miss like the scent like filling up my home like candles give me, but I turned this on this morning after I was getting the kids breakfast, and then I went upstairs, like got showered, did everything, and as I was coming downstairs, I could smell it from my stairs. So I think there's something to be said for just like letting it run longer. Maybe I was just like too anxious and it wasn't instant like a lot of times the candles are that I get. So I wanted to share that blend with you if you guys are wanting like a good fall scent that's a little bit better for you than inhaling candles. I'm just getting breakfast ready. I'm making protein pancakes for Bentley, which I've shared on here a bunch of times, but it's essentially, I just do it in a mug. It's super easy. Half of a banana, 2 egg whites, tablespoon of flaxseed and cinnamon, and then I just put some coconut oil, spray, and I cook those. And then for myself, I'm making an acai bowl, and so far I just have in a cup of oat milk. It's new to me. I know it's not new, but somebody shared this online because they know I drink a lot of almond milk, and I tried oat milk, and it's actually really good. My only negative thing about it is it has sugar in it, and the almond milk that we buy does not. So that's the only thing, but it is very smooth and creamy. So half of a banana, I'm gonna throw my packets in there, which I could show you. I've been getting them at Wegmans. I know you can also get them at Whole Foods, but the Pitaya Plus is the brand, and they are the organic dragon fruit smoothie packs. It comes in a pack of 4. So I put this, and then I also do frozen mango. I just bought this big bag from, I don't remember where, Target, I think. And that gives me like the perfect consistency. Bentley, say hi, I love you in yellow. You look so handsome. Bentley is going for a haircut today. And I'm like so on the fence about what I want to do. Do I want to just like trim it up so it's not in his face? His hair is so good, so silky. I want to just trim it up and keep it off of his face. Or do I want to like give him a little bit of a fade? Dan and everybody else that I've asked in our family thinks I should do the fade, like where it's shorter around the sides and like longer on top. So that's what we're leaning towards. So it just makes me sad to like cut his hair. This is all he does all day. Just like circles. Where are you going? You want a mission? What? Hey. Look at that. Look at that bed head. Oh gosh, Bentley, you're so cute. You're so cute. This is all he does all day. Thought I would just check in and say hi and tell you what's going on. I'm obsessed with this sweater. I got it on Zappos. It's by Free People. And it's very like oversized, and I love the balloon sleeves. It's kind of a little bit of a crop. I mean, it's not crop. I like tuck it in and it's perfect, but it's a shorter sweater. But it's just so cozy. I love it off the shoulder. And I'm wearing a small, and it's on sale. Hopefully it's still on sale when I post this video, but when I bought it, it was on sale for like 60 bucks, which is pretty good for Free People. So I'm gonna finish breakfast, and then I have my eyelash appointment today, which I am so desperate for. I'm missing like a lot in the front on my eyes. The ends are okay, but this is so funny. He like knows when it's time to eat, and he brings his chair over. You getting ready? Is it time to eat? Yep. You want to sit in your chair? You're so cute, Benny. the doctor the other day because we're a little bit concerned with his feeding. We've noticed that he kind of like pockets his food. It depends on the food, and it could be like just a sensory thing, but he'll pocket his food. Like this, he's not doing it right now, but sometimes when we give him dinner and stuff, we think he's all done, and then we like get him out of the chair and we're cleaning him up and he's playing and he still has food in his mouth and we didn't know it. But the most frustrating part is when he has like a ton of food in his mouth and he's asking for more, but we try to encourage him to swallow or chew, and he gets really frustrated that we're not feeding him, but we're not feeding him because he's got a mouthful of food. And the other part of it is he like, I don't want to say that he chokes. He doesn't choke, but he like coughs a lot. Like he'll just be walking randomly and just start like choke coughing, you know? So I took him to the doctor just to find out, is it something we should be concerned about? Like, could it be that his airway's too small or something? But the doctor said that he thinks if it was his airway, he would like be breathing heavier and louder. There'd be other signs, never throws up or anything like that. He said it could be just a little bit of reflux, so he actually referred us to a GI, the same GI that we took him to for the constipation, which has resolved. And he's also sending him for like a barium swallow study so that they can actually see once he eats like what the food does and if there's any struggle. And then I also have contacted early intervention for possible feeding therapy. So to be continued, but the doctor doesn't think I should be concerned. Oh, no, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want your crumbs. This is kind of like a little PSA. I used to work for a pediatric rehab company, and we would see kids for physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. And there's a ton of resources in your community that if you didn't know that they were there, you wouldn't know that they were there. And pediatricians should be telling you about them. But a lot of them don't, because a lot of the pediatricians themselves aren't educated, which is what I was doing. Was I was like going to educate the pediatricians on like signs to look out for, you know, red flags, milestones they should be hitting, which, I mean, let's be honest, you would think that they should know this, but you'd be surprised how many in-services I've done where the pediatricians are like, really? I should refer for that? It's like SMH. But anyway, there is a thing called early intervention, which is provided to you by your local sector, like in your community, in your city. And it's physical, occupational, and speech therapists. Early intervention is free. And the best part about it is they come to your house. So you're in your own home. You're not in like a cold room in a therapy center that's not familiar to your child. They come to your home, depending on how the evaluation goes. Like they would say if they're gonna come once a week, more than that, less than that, whatever. And they do the therapy like in your home. And I feel like a lot of times parents, I'm trying to be really sensitive when I say this because I don't want to offend anyone, but a lot of times there's some red flags and there's things, but parents don't say anything maybe because they're afraid to say something, they're afraid that could be something wrong, whatever the case may be, they don't say anything. And if you really think about it, when you go for your well checks with your child, your doctor is spending all of 10 minutes with your child. You're the one that's with your child day in and day out. So if you're not telling your pediatrician about concerns or things that are happening at home, they don't know. They're gonna ask you all of like the blanket milestone questions that are appropriate for that visit at that age. But outside of that, they don't know what's going on. So you have to tell them. And a lot of parents either forget to tell them, like they're not thinking of it, it happens, but it's not like happening all the time, so they don't mention it. Or some parents, I think, just in my experience from what I've seen, are in denial because they just are afraid. They just are afraid of not knowing. They're afraid that their child isn't perfect, which no child is perfect, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. So they don't say anything, but really, I feel like a lot of times that hurts their own child because there are so many resources in your community, and by not saying anything, you can't take advantage. With anything, the earlier you catch things, the earlier you start to try to fix things, the better outcome. So the sooner you acknowledge it and accept it, the sooner you can get help and the better outcome they have. So when he told me, when he mentioned early intervention to me, I was so excited because I'm like, cool, it's a free service. They're gonna come to my house, and even if it's not a big deal, or maybe he just needs a little bit of help or whatever, like that's provided to me. So I'm just saying this from one mom to other moms that are watching this. Like if you see things that are standing out to you that are red flags or things, don't be afraid to speak up, because there are a ton of resources and people wanting to help you, but they can't help you if you don't say anything. So, but yeah, early intervention is from birth to 3. And then after early intervention, once they're in school, like school age, then it's the intermediate unit, and they will come to the school. A lot of times they'll sit in, depending on your town, a lot of times they will sit in the classroom with the child. Sometimes they pull the child out for like therapy during the school day. It just kind of all depends. And then sometimes the kids will have like a separate IEP, like an individual education plan, where they're gonna have like different things to, milestones and goals and things to hit, you know, aside from their like typical school day. So I just wanted to mention this. I want to keep it real with you guys. That's what's going on with Bentley. I'm not concerned. I am glad that my doctor is like being proactive and sending us for testing and stuff, because it could be nothing, but it could be something. And the quicker we figure out what it is, the quicker we can help. Because to be honest with you guys, like feeding times for me are super stressful. Super stressful. Not so much breakfast, because I feel like breakfast is always like easy, soft things, scrambled eggs, pancakes, oatmeal. But once we get into like dinners and lunches, when he's eating like, you know, maybe peas even stress me out, or like green beans, or things that are like, you know, a little bit tougher to chew. It's very stressful, and he gets frustrated sometimes when I'm not like feeding him fast enough, but I'm not feeding him fast enough because he has stuff in his mouth. So I just wanted to chat with you guys about this, and also just say that if you see something, say something with your kid, because you know your kid better than your pediatrician. And if your pediatrician's not asking the questions and you're not volunteering the information, then it goes unnoticed and it goes unresolved. And one thing I could even tell you about, like with Addie, like you can't just assume that because they're a doctor, they know it all. And because they're a doctor, they are like experts, and they're gonna, like everything that they say is true. You have to be an advocate for your child, and that's one thing I've learned with Addie. Like you just have to, because nobody else is gonna advocate for them. It's all gone. Do you want more? Are you still hungry? Okay, let me give you a, hold that thought. Want some drink? Probably thirsty. So with Addie, and I think I've shared this before, but I took her in when I took Bentley in for his well check, and told the doctor what was going on. I thought that she looked a little pale. Other than that, I didn't see any other signs. I thought that she looked pale, and she like was lower energy than typical. And so he sent us for blood work right away, and he's like, I'm gonna call you tonight. Don't stress about it. It's probably just a virus. Well, he never called me that night. And he never called me the next day. And I love my doctor, so it's like, it hurts me to even like share this about him, because I really, really like my doctor. And had I not had the relationship that I've built with him prior to this happening, I probably would have changed practices, because it was just very upsetting. But anyway, I think since then he's become like overly sensitive to Louis and Bentley and Addie too, but like overly sensitive with the other two, which I kind of appreciate. But anyway, so the next day she fell down, and that's when I kind of knew like something is not right. You just have that like instinct, something's not right. So that's when I called to see if I could get her blood results. And the lady on the phone was like, I don't see anything in her chart. Let me just check with the doctor and I'll call you back. So at this point, I'm not worried, right? Because he didn't call me. It's not in her chart. Like, they didn't call me this morning, so I'm sure it's nothing. And she called me back within 5 minutes and said, you need to take your daughter straight to the ER. Her hemoglobin is very low. And I was like, because literally, like, we had just come down from, like, the morning. We had just woken up. Bentley was, I don't even think I changed his diaper yet. And I was like, what? Oh, okay. And she's like, do you want us to send an ambulance? Like, and then that's when shit got real, because I was like, what? Like, an ambulance? Like, what's going on? So I oftentimes think, like, if she didn't fall that day and the day carried on, would I have called to get her blood test results? I don't know. I honest to God don't know the answer. Would they have called me? I would hope that they would have. I mean, her hemoglobin was at 3.6. Like, that's really bad. Like an average healthy person's hemoglobin is like between 11 and 14. Hers was at 3.6. So the fact that she went in for blood work, I'd say like around 3 o'clock the prior day and nothing was flagged and nobody called me, it makes me pissed. And it also makes me wonder, like, if I didn't call, would they have called? Like, maybe they wouldn't have called and then something would have happened. Like maybe she would have passed out. I don't know. But point of the story is that you need to be an advocate for your child and you need to speak up. And even if you are afraid of the outcome, like I was, obviously I knew something was wrong. And if I didn't call, like I was just prolonging the inevitable. Something was wrong with her regardless of whether I acknowledged it or not. See, this is what he does. You have a mouthful. You have a mouthful. I'm not gonna give you more. You gotta chew. You want more? Do you want your water? So that is your tip for the day. I'm gonna go eat this. I hope that was helpful. If you wanna chat about anything, you guys know how to get a hold of me about this stuff. I'm very passionate about where I used to work. I wish I still worked there at times. So I'm not an expert, I'm not a therapist, I don't have a medical background, but I've seen and heard and witnessed a lot, and I consider myself pretty educated just on like the basics, you know, like the milestones they should be hitting, red flags and things. So I hope that this little, like, I don't know what you'd call this, little spiel PSA was helpful to you, at least one of you. And I'm gonna go enjoy my breakfast and I'll talk to you later. Hello, it is 5:25. I just got in from my lash appointment. I came in and Bentley is sleeping and Dan took Addie to soccer and Louie's at football, so it's quiet. And I'm gonna start cooking in a little bit so that it's ready when they get home. But before that, I thought I would just chat about something that might be, I don't know, is it really, I don't know, controversial, I don't know. Let's talk about fillers in your face. Did you guys ever think I would talk to you guys about fillers? I never did. So I've been thinking about doing this for a while now because there's something on my face that I'm very insecure about. And I am not someone that judges people for doing things to their face or their body. I mean, it's their body, it's their face, they have to live with it. So to me, like when people get crazy about others that do things to their face, like I don't understand it. It's like, it's not your face or your body. But I really wanted to talk to you guys because I would love any feedback or like if anybody else has had any experience with these things, because nobody in my real life has that I could ask. And while I could just go on and like read reviews, I would much rather have like firsthand accounts. So I have been thinking about doing this for, I'd say like the last couple years, but only more recently, like I've been noticing it a lot more. And it's this line right here. Back in the day when I was a little bit heavier and a little bit pudgier, these lines were super prominent. And I feel like it didn't bother me back then, or maybe I just wasn't noticing as much because my face was a lot fuller. But since I lost weight, I feel like I've become very self-conscious of it, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's not like you can like contour your cheeks to make your face look more slender. Like these lines are there. I have them on both sides. If I do that, it looks, I don't know. I feel like it's more prominent on my right side, but I hear it showing up more on my left. Furthermore, I feel like my mouth does this like natural thing where it just like goes down. When I do this, I feel like I look super weird, but it bothers me. And I don't know if it's just the aging process of like things starting to fall And I don't know if this is like a weight thing. I've always had like chipmunk cheeks since I was little, but watching back my videos and editing them is where, and I'm sorry that I'm looking at the viewfinder. I just realized that I'm doing that, but I'm trying to like show you what I'm talking about. I'll try to look here. Watching back and editing my videos is where I notice it the most. I feel like I don't notice it day to day, like when I'm just doing my makeup or if I look at myself in the mirror, I don't really notice it. But when I'm watching back and editing my videos, it is so obvious to me and it really bothers me. When I asked Dan about it, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, you look fine. I feel like guys just don't notice this kind of thing. So I actually did call and make a consultation for a local med spa where I've gone before to get my hydrofacials and stuff. They do Botox and all of those things. I made a consultation and then I was actually contacted by a very well-known, reputable medical spa. I'm not gonna say it because I don't know if it's happening yet, but I was contacted and offered in return for a video to do something. Either like laser facials, Botox, or Juvederm, which really in doing more research, I've learned that Juvederm is essentially hyaluronic acid. It's very natural, it's very safe. It just like fills up your face so that it's less saggy and stuff. And a lot of people use Juvederm like on their cheekbones to make their cheekbones stand out. Here's the thing, I don't wanna alter my face. I don't wanna look any different. I just don't want these lines anymore, or these like, I don't want them to be as prominent and as noticeable as they are. So that's the only thing I would do. I'm not against Botox, but I feel like right now, like I have a little bit of this and it doesn't bother me. And some might think it's weird, but I actually really like my crow's feet. Like I notice them in pictures when I'm smiling, and I smile a lot. And I feel like those are like my badges of happiness. I don't know. I like my crow's feet. Maybe in 5 years I won't like them and they'll be super annoying and I'll be self-conscious of them, but I don't have any desire to do Botox. I will never get lip injections. That's something that I can confidently sit here and say that I will not, have no desire, don't ever want. Nothing against anybody that does them. I just don't feel like it ever looks natural, and I don't love my lips, but I don't mind them. I don't need them to look any different. I am happy with who I am. I'm happy with how I look. I'm not trying to like alter my appearance. And that's the biggest reason I haven't done anything, is because I don't want to look any different. There are so many people that I follow on YouTube and Instagram that I've followed like for years, and they look completely different than how they looked back in the day. And again, like no judgment. They have to be happy with themselves. They have to, it's their body, it's their face, like it's whatever. But I'm just saying, to me, they look very different. And a lot of times I'm like, you were so perfect before, like you were so beautiful before. Why did you do this? Because I feel like it doesn't always look better. But if it looks better to them, then more power to you. And my opinion is just my opinion. But a lot of times I feel like when I see these transformations of people that like start out with lips and then do their whole face, they just end up looking not like them. And that is not the goal here. I like how I look. These lines really, really bother me. Since we're talking about this topic, I will share something else with you guys that I've never shared on social media. I actually went for a consultation for a breast augmentation months ago. And again, this is not something, I've never had the desire to have breast implants. I've always been small, flat-chested, and I've always been fine with it. I laugh at myself, but it's never been something where I like became insecure over it. And then when I breastfed Addie, my boobs got huge, and my boobs have always been like one larger than the other. And I think that's a lot of the case for people, like that's a natural thing. But when I was breastfeeding Bentley, it was like significantly 10 times the size of my other one. And it made me really, really insecure. And I didn't mind it day to day. But I remember this moment where I was in the fitting room at Target. I was shopping for clothes and bathing suits to take to Mexico with me. And I was in the fitting room just bawling because I was just so insecure. Like my boobs were just like completely like this. And it was so, so, so uncomfortable. And I felt like I looked like a freak. I felt like I looked like I had a botched surgery. And then the whole time in Mexico, like I had to be very careful about the bathing suits that I was buying. And I had to buy like bathing suits like this, not individual cups. And even still, like when it was time for me to pump, I was just so self-conscious. Like I was wearing my kimonos and my cover-ups, like so insecure, so self-conscious. And Dan, it would bother Dan because he's like, you look fine, you look beautiful, what do you care? Like it's fine. But it was just something that made me really, really insecure. So in that moment, I was like, I think I want to do this. And Dan has always been like super supportive. And he's like, I think you look fine, but if that's what's going to make you happy and not feel insecure to where you're crying, then I think you should just go talk to them. So I went for a consultation. Even being in that appointment was it felt so outer body for me, because it was like, it's just not something I ever considered. So for me to be in there, and then I tried on implants, it just felt like really weird, and I didn't love how they felt and looked, and I was just like, I don't know, like I wasn't sold on it. And my doctor actually said, I don't want to do this until you're at least 6 months out from breastfeeding, because your boobs are going to change again and again and again until you're done breastfeeding. And I stopped breastfeeding Bentley when he was 10 months old. I started to just like lose my supply. I think it was just stress and just, I don't know, it just dwindled. My boobs started to change, and now they're back to normal, and they're not huge. They're actually flat as a board. But I like my boobs. I like that I can wear anything. I go braless a lot of times. Like I'm not limited with the clothes that I can wear. While bathing suits don't look voluptuous on me, I mean, I can pretty much wear whatever bathing suit I want, and I like it. So that is off the table. And if we have another child, I'm just accepting the fact that my boobs are probably gonna do that again. But it's comforting for me to know that they go back to normal, and I'm very happy with how they are. But I just wanted to tell you that, because if I was gonna get them done, it's not something I would have tried to hide or lie about. Like I will own it. Just like if I do this, I'm gonna own it, because I think as women, like we should lift one another up. And if that's something that's gonna make you feel insecure or whatever, like I would like to be able to talk about it and get people to tell me the goods and the bads and support me rather than like tear me down for it. So that's just the message I'm trying to put out there, and that's why I wanted to share the whole boob thing with you. Again, nothing against people that have breast implants. I think they look amazing, and I'm like envious a lot of times when I see people's boobs, but it's just not for me. Like I've never had them, so I don't miss them, and when I'm breastfeeding, it's great. But when they go back to normal, I'm not like, oh man, like I wish my boobs were bigger, you know? So I'm good with that. It was actually really funny, because when I told my mom that I was gonna go for a consultation, she was like, why are you doing that? You don't need to do that, that's crazy. And I was like, Mom, they're like really bad. Like it's making me really insecure. She's like, no, they're not. And I lifted up my shirt, she was like, oh. And I was like, thanks a lot. I don't think I noticed it as much with Addie, because I weighed a lot more even when I was done breastfeeding with Addie, and my boobs were always bigger. I'll see if I can find a picture. I have a picture from when Dan and I dated years ago. My boobs looked good. Like they weren't huge, but they were bigger than they are now. I was a little bit heavier back then, but when I lost weight, like I just lost any little bit of volume that I had. So when I was done breastfeeding Addie, I don't feel like it was as noticeable, but now that I've lost weight, it was really making me insecure. So I just wanted to share this, and I also really would love anybody's feedback if you have had Juvederm, specifically in this area. Again, I'm not trying to like change anything on my face other than like these lines. I would just like them to be not there, or a little bit less. And then I don't know if they would do Juvederm here, but like I just don't like how my mouth like naturally goes down. So I feel like if they put a little bit of filler in here, maybe that would fix it. I don't know. I feel like we're doing the bonding right now, and I like that I have this channel with all of you that I feel like for the most part have been with me for a while and really support me, and I support you, and it's comfortable for me to be able to talk to you guys about this, because I feel like I have all these girlfriends. If I had like girlfriends in my real life that have gone through this, and I probably would just be talking to them about it, but I don't have any friends that have done this, so that's why I'm coming to you guys. But I don't know. I think I hear Bentley, so I'm gonna go get him, and then I'm gonna start dinner, but I will check in with you guys later. And I really just appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you not being judgmental and being supportive and kind, and I encourage you guys to do that in real life too, because it makes such a difference in people's lives and in their day. So I will see you later, okay? Hola again. We are gonna cook tonight with Home Chef. We chose the salmon fillets. we got enough for 4 because this is a meal that we make every week, some kind of salmon, and the kids love it. So this one is made with miso butter and green beans amidine. So they send you in the clear bags, which I love because you can easily see what's in here and pull them out of your fridge. Everything is what do you call it? Like measured, like the amount is given to you, and everything is packaged separately. So we have for 4, we have 2 bags, so everything is doubled. And the first step is to trim ends off green beans, mince garlic, slice green onions, quarter lime, and pat the salmon fillets dry. Season with salt and pepper. So let's prepare, shall we? I like these bags too because you can just throw your trash right back in here. Usually when Addie is here, she helps me with the green beans, something I used to always do with my mom. And I like to keep the tradition going, but she is at soccer practice right now, so I'm on my own. I typically would just snap them, but for the sake of time, I'm gonna just trim them.